Remember that stimulus thing? Does anybody remember that? I'm going to go back a long way. Now, if you're young, you probably don't remember. But in 2008, there was a massive worldwide financial crisis. And Barack Obama in 2009, when he came in, was facing massive job losses. But we were just shedding jobs. And they voted on a stimulus bill. I don't think the Republicans ever voted. Republicans, by and large, didn't vote for it. The stimulus bill was about $750 billion with a B. And half of that, 750, was tax cuts. So the actual cash stimulus was about $380 billion. Maybe it was $400 billion. Now, it wasn't like the Republicans had never done stimulus. In fact, I think it was 2007 or 2006, I can't remember. George Bush sent out checks to everybody, not from his personal account, but from our government account. Literally, everybody got a check. Almost everybody got a check from George Bush to stimulate the economy. It was like $260 or something. I don't know. And you remember how the right was talking about like this slush fund is disgusting, building the deficit and the debt and blah, blah, blah. Stimulus is horrible. And
it's a slush fund for Democratic interest groups.
It's a slush fund. And, government can't create jobs. The government's never created a job. What was it? Let's let Rush Limbaugh pick up, except for instead of it being 8 years ago, let's just take it from, what was this? Yesterday.
Trump actually follows through on this $1 trillion to modernize airports. You're going to have conservative arguments against it, claiming this is not how it works. This is still federal spending. It's still budget busting. It's still massively expanding the government. However,
now, pause it for 1 second. I want you to listen to the tone of this, okay? $1 trillion stimulus. Spending, not tax cuts. Now, granted, it's coming from borrowing. It's all going to be privatized. But I want you to listen to this. Imagine if this was a Democratic president. Rush Limbaugh would be crushing it. Wait, but hold it. But Rush this is what you do, folks, when you have no integrity and you're worried about losing both flanks of your audience here. He's not going to criticize it. He's not going to fully embrace it. He's going to move into a mode where he doesn't have opinion about it. It's just happening. Rush Limbaugh is suddenly going to a guy who's like, I'm not an opinionated blowhard. I'm just telling you how it is.
Balls and strikes.
Balls and strikes. That's all I'm not even calling balls and strikes here. I'm just saying what the umpire is calling. That's all I'm doing. I'm in the booth. Here we go.
Trump actually follows through on this $1 trillion to modernize airports. You're going to have conservative arguments against it, claiming this is not how it works. This is still federal spending. It's still budget busting. It's still massively expanding the government. However, there will be tangible results that will result in improved and modernized airports, which will make them more economically booming, which they will be able to attract more traffic, more landings and takeoffs, which include fees, more cargo being moved back and forth through them. So it's going to be an interesting philosophical argument. The idea of conservatism and smaller government, less government. And on the other hand, the projects we're talking about, who builds them? I mean, the federal government built the interstate highway system.
What?
It was a federal government expense. Same thing with those two bridges. They did it in connection with the states. I mean, there was a lot of cooperation on all of these efforts. Hoover Dam in Nevada and so forth, and there were other things. And don't forget, even prior to that, we did the Panama Canal, even prior to the 1930s. The point is, in the past, with a much smaller economy and a much lower standard of living, we have been far more productive. We have built many more projects at a much faster rate before all the environmental impact studies were necessary.
There we go.
And all this. And if Trump does this, and if there are witnessable, demonstrable results of modernization at airports, you're going to be hard-pressed to get people to find a problem with it.
Pause it. What? Infrastructure spending by the government? People would not be against it because there's no downside impact? What? I'm getting woozy.
What are you frowning at me for?
I'm not frowning. I'm smiling.
Of course it could backfire, but on the other hand, don't forget my three initials, FDR. FDR doing all this stuff gave the Democrat Party a 50-year guaranteed majority. Well, that was his dream. It didn't actually work out to 50 years, but he made the Democrat Party a majority party. Remember, Trump's not a conservative. So small government, less government, that's not how he sees things. And I've tried to tell people this from the beginning of the campaign. He does things and says things that sound conservative, and he's going to do things that sound conservative. He's going to also do things that are not going to look conservative because he's not an ideologue. He's a results guy and get things done. And he'll look at that $1 trillion as an investment, and he'll tabulate a way of showing that it paid off. Even though the philosophical, theoretical discussion will argue against it. The way he's being...
But what are we supposed to think about it? What are we supposed to think about it, Rush?
Like, you're on your own for the first time in 30 years.
I mean, that sound you're hearing is people driving off the highway because they're so disoriented. Wait, I don't understand. This isn't bad, or is it bad? Is it bad or good? You can't let all these authoritarians out there running around looking for, is it bad or is it good? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting philosophical experiment.
I love how he also just basically gave an informal history of all of the successful American public works projects funded by the government. Like, not only in the United States,
read
but
at the
in
corner
Panama.
That some of these things happened that were good that government did.
It's like,
I had no idea.
like the most basic, like, liberal talking point of decades, and all of a sudden he drops out like, well, you know, these things have been enormously successful.
I mean,
it did make FDR pretty much create a permanent majority for decades, so we'll see. Jury's out.
Sir, it's certainly going to be interesting to see what happens. I wish I had an opinion on it, but I don't want to lose the Levin people, but I also don't want to lose the Hannity people, and I'm...
So look forward to some stories on safe spaces. And
let me just get through this next round of contract negotiations, and then I'll...
That was great.
Yep.
That was great. But he's not in the he's not like in the Alex Jones Trump world yet, where you just purely, like I was saying yesterday, in the Trump world, they would say, we found WMDs in Iraq. Like, it would be the next level. You wouldn't just sort of lie and manipulate intelligence. You'd be like, they're there.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is day, what, 14 of the transition?
You think
day
he'll
20?
catch up?
Well, he's doing it in a different way. What he's doing is it's big government, but different.
But it might not benefit minorities, folks.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.